CEO of this company, again featured on the front cover of the American Business Journal, a gentleman who 10 years ago saw the vision to create this from his own home. From there, expanded to Ottawa, then to Toronto now. Now to well over 40,000 different VDMs launched in over 92 countries around the globe. A gentleman who's responsible for incredible products, ranked top 3 in the world when it comes to compensation plans. In my opinion, he's the #1 expert in compensation plans. The gentleman who has changed many lives. Started at the age of 18 years old. At the age of 23, was a self-made millionaire. Since then has created 13 other millionaires, and I thank God for him because I'm one of them too, right? A gentleman who's given away ample enough of cars and vacations around the globe here. The gentleman that literally, without him, I wouldn't be here today. So please give me a standing ovation to welcome our guest speaker.
How's everyone?
Great!
This is a good-looking crowd. It wasn't part of my act. Take off the jacket. Okay. Where do we start? How about with congratulations for being here this song?
Yes!
You know, I've been doing this way for too long. I'm a little bit impatient when I see amateur mentality or mindset. So one of the reasons why Doug and I did that locker room conversation. Who saw the Prodigy Mindset video so far? There's another. It was only loaded yesterday. I'm telling you, you want to make sure that you go click on that, because if you've ever been discouraged in anything, whether it's this business or anything in life, you only watch that. Because this was after shooting 14 hours and retired, and went by the bar at the lounge or headquarters, be having a glass of wine. I never miss an opportunity to drill people who are extraordinary. We ask questions, and we share ideas. And we're just having this conversation. And I'm asking, and then the camera people came to take some background footage, just before the video starts. And the cameraman got so in tune with the conversation, kept on rolling. And that's for your benefit, because one of the most powerful videos I've done in 26 years. You want to make sure that it's on the Forensic Networker Nation Facebook page. You guys all part of that, I guess?
Yep.
If you're not, make sure that you are, because I give you a kind of a mental boot camp time to time on that. So it's called a forensic mantra. And stuff I talk about is relevant to pretty much everything in your life. It's not just business specific related stuff. So in any event, some of the stuff that in that video were the specific questions I was asking is that what you'll find, the common denominator with whoever's done things well in anything, the mindset is pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. But what makes Doug's story so special is that some of the stuff that he said, and that's why I said when you watch that, watch it a number of times, not once. Every time you watch it, something resonates. And I'm telling you, when you watch that 10th time, you're finally going to say, I got it. Because for him to go to win the World Series of Emmys, of acting, which is Emmys, it took him 36 years to do that. Wow. 36 years to do that. So again, a lot of the stuff is in there. It's only 11, 12 minutes, but just make sure you. So, well, look, most people would say, most people would say, well, it's too long, I'm not good at this, and right? Throw up, hand up in disgust. I just love how you put it. So I said, how is it that, you're so down to earth and, because the very first thing to give credit to was the vehicle that he had. And a superstar like that, especially in our industry, me, right? It wasn't the the vehicle, it's not the product, it's not the marketing plan, it's not the support, it's not my people, it's me. Right? That's the attitude. So my question to him was like, you're a superstar, how do you? And he said, well, I was blessed that I didn't have a fast start. I was at a very slow start. So I got to appreciate, when I finally hit it, I got to appreciate where I'm at and be able to handle it. I mean, that, someone else would say, oh, starting, like, I talked to some of you guys and like, you know, it's been like 6 months and you know, it's just not, right? But you gotta be very clear what you're shooting for. If you're doing it for 6 months to make $50 retail profit, that's too long. But that's not what you're shooting for. You're shooting for something that will get rid of your job, fire your boss, work from home, have ample time with your family, ample time, you know, traveling the world, less stress, retirement. So it's pretty large, isn't it? I mean, what you're working for is not to make some retail profit. What you're working for is quite a lot more than that. So you need a Doug Davidson attitude on this. It took him 35 years to finally get his award. And I just love how he put it. I was blessed. I was a turtle. And I had a very slow start. But I got to appreciate it. And you have no idea how what a big statement that is. I know what a big statement that is because I've seen over the past 26 years stars come to a quick start and then self-destruct because of their ego. Completely self-destruct because of their ego. You guys know some last woman when she started, she was a distributor. You guys know that, right? Yeah. You know her upline quit? Her sponsor quit? Want to know why? Her chick went up to 6,001 right away, and the rules didn't apply to her anymore. Do you think that was a huge mistake?
Yep.
Because that lit every one of you that knew by now. Because that was, you know, I mean, that's above Renee. That position, right? I've seen, so when he says I was blessed that I had a very slow start, so when I finally got there, I could handle it. That's a big statement. And I just love his artistic way of putting, he goes, I don't know what I was, let me see what I was asking him. He says, you have to have faith, and you gotta go read his own because I'm probably butchering that. Because when you have faith, you appreciate the vehicle you have, and then he goes, I have a picture of Peter Pan on my phone. And it says, you know, what about dust he calls it? Pixie dust. And then magic happens. Magic just happens. I mean, I just love, you know, there's a couple more things I want to share with you because when I come to talk to a group like yours, I'm not here to train you. We do that on the forensic page and we do that on the webinars. I've trained all my top guys and they're best trainers in the world and they do a phenomenal job. I want to talk to you about stuff that we don't teach. And some of these experiences, and I think the stories that sits with you 15, 20, 30 years from now, if you get a chance to sit with me, and many of you have, and all our top guys have, one thing they're going to tell you about is my stories. You know, because you never forget stories. You know, it's those stories you pass on. You can go to another company or whatever, but the stories is what sits with you, and it's the stories that inspires you. So in MLM, I say you don't need to be a master of anything to hit it out of the park. We're just highly paid storytellers. That's all. Highly paid storytellers. Story of the guy who just got in, he went diamond within the first 2 hours, diplomat in the first 9 days. We're storytellers. The people that come to your tour, they don't remember the figures. They don't remember what's in the 21K. You know what they remember? The student from, Cambridge came over and he's doing this full time and he's going to fire his boss soon. Those are the type of things they remember. So stories are extremely important. Today I'm going to share with you some stories. Is that okay? Yeah. Stories okay? Yeah, you're going to have fun with the stories. But a couple more a couple of more things that I'm actually on the Facebook page on the Forensic Networker, and I made some comments about some of the points that Doug made and how that's relevant. Now, why am I sharing this with you? The day before, when Doug flew in, him and I had a coffee together. And he says, I admire guys like you. I said, is that right? He goes, yeah. You guys are wired differently. Those are the words he actually used, and I use that word all the time. And so you guys are wired differently. You can take an idea and blow it up to something like this. And I admire guys like you. So I nailed him the next day because I saw him perform, and what he didn't know, he's wired exactly the same way. Just a different field. And everything he talked about in that 12-minute video, everything he says is relevant to you. And at the end, when he was leaving, he says, you know what? Maybe I should look at entrepreneurial because everything, you're right. You've converted me like 2 days. Because he is. You don't win at that level. You don't last 36 years in Hollywood unless you are something special. And he is something special. I texted him yesterday. I said, you're inspiring a lot of people. You should become a motivational speaker. And he was just revved up about it. He's just such a good guy. Anyway, so here's what he said. Some of the stuff because relevant to how you think. And by the way, the Forensic Network Nation, this is the Facebook page. You want to make sure you go. And also when you go to forensicnetworker.com, if you want to get the mantras that I do on here, by email, so you can pass it on, just go register, put your email there, and we send it to you once a week. All right, so I'm just trying to find that, because once I get into my other stories, then we have a lot to talk about. All right. Some of my favorite responses. How did you get out of the lows of life? I love this. Because I talked about the emotional roller coaster, right? We all go through that. You know, you're motivated and you're discouraged. We go through that in your life. In every other thing. Your relationship, is it always high? It isn't. Is your relationship with your kids always good? It isn't. Is your health always good? It isn't. I call that an emotional roller coaster. Your business will go through that. Here's the difference. When you get sick, you stop breathing. No. You fight hard to get better. But you go through the lows in your business, pity party. You know what a pity party is? Oh, look who's calling. From Italy.
Oh,
Look who's calling. Okay, what's your price? Shut it down on the stage. Yes. Together like this. Hello, sir. So, guys, and as your actual speaker for more than about 100 people are listening to you. She called me earlier on. She says, "Can you speak to the Team Italy because some great stuff's happening there, and I'm supposed to do this for her, but I got her back." All right, so now I'm in front of the room. You want to say hello to the team here? That's why you come to these events. So you don't miss anything, right? She could be at home. Okay, Saz, you're there? Are you there? All right. So say a quick hello to everyone, and what we wanted to do, have my five of the Team Italy to actually say hello to Team Italy because they've done an amazing job. We'll do that maybe another time, Sanas, but you want to say hi to everyone?
Absolutely, I think that's the best idea. Yes, hello, Toronto.
Hello!
It's cold here.
You have the best of the best, of course. You have the dictionary there, so have a lot of fun with you. I'm sure everyone's excited to hear from you. So have an amazing event. We're just wrapping up our event here, and then I'm going to be off to fly back tomorrow.
Yeah, enjoy your week of gondola rides in Milan. All right, so lads, take care. She's working hard over there, and so we're talking to one of our suppliers. I said, "Well, Sanaz is on the gondola ride for the week."
Wow.
Working my head off. Okay, so I said, "How did you get all of the lows?" And I love the answer. He said, "You have no choice. It's either that or you die." And I wasn't ready to go. I just love it. It's simple. How did you get down when you were down? Because we talked about his career. He's very open. He talks about how he took a pay cut. Do you want to know what was his pay cut? You're not going to believe it. You wouldn't put up with it. The entire group over there, 86% pay cut.
Whoa.
86%. So he went through that. He talked about his mom died. He had to bring his father home. He had a lot of adversity. Lots of adversity. But, so how did you get out of the lows? No choice. You either get out or you die. I wasn't ready to go. When you have the downtime, are you ready to die?
No.
Let me give you some more. This is good stuff. These are roads. Oh yeah. He talked about, again, you gotta watch that video. Well, I'm asking the question because I know it's relevant to you every day. So he referenced to a book called Think and Grow Rich. Growing him. Now, first time I read that book was about 30 years ago. And brought this idea, which is relevant to all of you. And I see this happen weekly for 26 years. There's a story in there that there was a group that came with all the equipment and everything else to start digging for gold. And they spent a ton of money, big project, and they kept on digging, and there was nothing. And they quit. Another group came, took over. Within 3 feet, they found gold.
Oh.
They stopped digging they came within 3 feet of success. And that's what happens in this business. You just don't know who's the next guy or next girl who's going to hit out of the park for you. You just don't know. And this is a binary system. You only need 2. And most of you get one automatically anyways. Right? So you just don't know. And again, the way he puts it, he says, you know, because I keep pressing on his downtime. So you know that nothing extraordinary happens by ordinary people. And it doesn't matter if it's you, brand new, if you're Reza or Renee or Sherry or Maria, they all go through the same emotions. They go through it too. They've been through it. It's not like they're so good they don't walk on the hard coals that you guys walk on. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter what field it's on, they all go through it. The ones who persevere are the ones who are going to have the longevity. Yeah. And one thing he said, and again I love it, his artistic way of communicating. He goes, you know what? Oh man, I've been through it so many times that it's just so cloudy and everything is just going wrong. And then you wake up the next day and the clouds are gone. It can change like that. But you all know that. It's happened to you how many times? How many times you've been down and depressed or something? Yes. Right? So next time you're going through the roller coaster, know that. So I always say, in the Forensic Network, I talk about this is your emotional roller coaster, I call it, right? Try not to do this. Try to do this. Because the higher the hill, the steeper the drop. Most importantly for the new people, don't create artificial highs.
Yeah.
And what that means by that is that I got this young man here, met him in the mall, haven't seen him in a long time. What do you do? Tell him, really? Oh man, I've been looking for something like that. When's your meeting? You must have a meeting, right? You got a meeting. I know you got a meeting. Yeah, well, I'll be there. I'll be there. Wednesday, I will be there. By the way, you can quit your job now. You don't be rich on me alone. I'm not exaggerating, but you run into somebody who you perceive as your home run, right?
Yeah.
How do you know that? That's an artificial lie.
Change the world.
Rarely don't meet your expectations. Rarely. You don't know who's going to hit out of the park. If you knew, you don't need to be in business at all. Just spend $1 by lottery. You don't know. So don't create artificial highs that when they disappoint you, you're like, whoo! And you go, try to keep it. Yeah. You know, at the office, we got all milestones to reach. Every time we reach our milestones, you know, Sanas has her money dance. So she comes in, she does her money dance or whatever. And so I'm just focused on the next and the next and the next, that sometimes I don't show reaction because generally she walks in and you know I'm doing something. And I'm one of those guys that you ladies make fun of. You know, if I'm focused on something, I'm not listening, but I'm just focused on that, right? Yeah. And she says, we don't celebrate directories anymore. I mean, she's right. So I try to take some time to, you know, take it in. Because the minute I've reached that target, I'm already in the next one. And so you don't want to do this either, right? You want to do, but not, right? All right. There's going to come a little more here. This is good stuff or what?
Great.
I'll tell you, I've done this for 26 years, and I look at stuff like, and I enjoyed that interview so much. So thank God for Peter and the crew. They just showed up, and they just kept on rolling. All right, so this thing keeps going off. Because there's some good stuff. Because when you guys, now that I'm sharing this with you guys, if you guys are, when you guys go to actually watch it, then it's going to resonate with you because I talk about it. There's a couple more things I think was really important to share with you guys. Because right away, what I did, I started writing here, I love these ideas. And I did that because I want to make sure that you guys catch on to them as well. And, oh, there we go. I can't put the finger, pull this up. So 3 feet from goal, don't make that view, huh? You just don't know where's the next phone call, the next person. That's just going to build it for you. You can talk to every top earner we have, and I would have to say 99% will tell you they have no clue who's going to it. How does Renee, how does Leo know? They don't know who's going to be that next one, right? You don't know. There was a lot of people that I have my own personal story on this, but when Maria came to us, she was 21 years old, college student, didn't know anything. Right? So when you take a look at that, 7, 8 years ago, nice. So I actually tapped it. Didn't know those. So anyways, and at that time, you know, if you take a look at a 21-year-old young lady, you see her doesn't know anything about this business, and she worked in the bank, and she was a student, right? And then we had people who were business-minded and business owners. At the same time, you would think automatically, well, they must be a better candidate, right? Things we don't know, so we give attention to everybody. Here we are 7, 8 years later. She's got teams of thousands of people. She's retired, so you don't know. So that's what I'm saying. You don't know what that next person's going to do for you. Make sure that you don't stop 3 feet from the goal. Talked about the picture of the little, the Peter Pan. It's, when you have faith, the magic happens. You don't have to know how it happens, it just happens. That's not your job to know, it's his job. Your job is just to have faith, keep effort forward, and let him facilitate where this is supposed to go. Now I love the Aladdin story. Did you hear what he said with the Aladdin story?
Yeah. Yes.
No. So, what do you think of this? And I just love his idea, the way he communicates. Because he came into our gallery, he was just blown away. So I said, so when he first walked in, what did you think of it? Of the gallery? He says, well, you don't expect it here. Because he's on Hollywood, right? Red carpet, Rodeo Drive, all of this. And he comes in, he said, it's almost like the Aladdin movie. The guy slips, he goes down, he's in this thing full of glitter, like out of nowhere. Right? I mean, it's just wonderful. At the end of the day, running your own business, doesn't matter what company it is. And I just feel like we just have we've solved a lot of problems of the industry. and our stats show it. The last 3 weeks I've been working on the 2014 income disclosure for the company. And by doing that, because even that's becoming, I'm the biggest advocate of the industry, but the stuff that goes on, it just bugs me. It really does. It's a guy like me who has got so much knowledge of compensation plans. When I start seeing what other companies are doing to deceive people, it just bugs me. For example, the income disclosure is supposed to be very simple. How much is a typical distributor in the company mix? Not your top guys, not your active guys, typical. Now, the government definition of typical is about this long, by the way. It's a book, this thing. But, so when I start looking at other companies, because what I'm going to give you guys are going to love, because we're just so astronomically in a different league than anyone else. So I'm taking one of the most well-known nutrition companies, health companies, wellness, coffee company, and a telecom company, and a skincare company. I'm going to put next to ours. So you guys are going to have this as, you can go and have a lot of fun with it. What you're going to find, nothing has changed from the last 5 years. We're still 5 or 6 times better than anyone else. So, but looking at how they do things, and the whole focus is on the top 1%. Not a typical. In fact, how the disclosure's written, you can tell some fancy lawyers wrote it. Because it sounds good until you really know what's going on. And you read it and say, what, that sounds good. When they call it active, you better dig and find what active really means. One particular company, their active distributor meant people who not only buying products monthly at the maximum level, they're actually recruiting 3 people a month. That's the definition of an active. That means they just eliminated 99% of their workforce. So whole income disclosure is based on the top 1%. Well, you wouldn't know that if you read the income disclosure. You kind of missed the active part, right? But I don't miss those things. But you're going to love ours. Because all I've taken is I've taken a diamond, because we've got 59% of diamond, the rest can be diamond like that. So it's not like you have to cheat it, just go do it today. Anyone can do it, right? And I've given you ways to do it for free. You don't have to buy it, right? You can do it for free. All I've taken was a diamond, who's buying $150 a month. And that's how it should be. Being IA, being diamond, and our stats still destroys them. By far. So that's going to come out soon. It took me 3 weeks of research to do this because I have our numbers and I have to keep on these different data. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you've got yourself an opportunity that you need to take action on. You know, I think, sit back now, 10th anniversary is coming up. I've been there every day for the last 2 weeks at 3 or 4 in the morning. It's got so much to write. You're going to see a series of videos coming out, marketing tools, things that we feel is relevant right now for you to go and build your business. So we already have tons of stuff that for you, quite company has the most marketing tools for you, but we keep on evolving, right? And I think back where we started. I came in and Renee was talking about the product. You know, again, I don't want to beat up on our competitors because, you know, that conversation I was having with that young man. I think human beings need a point of reference. Unless if you don't give them that point of reference, then they only focus on what they see, right? Louis Vuitton has an F business rating. F, that's the worst you can get, right? That's the worst. That's the bottom low. Does that make them a bad company? They're not. They're a great company. So why do they have an F rating? I'll tell you why. Because people pay a lot of money for the stuff, and they expect, just because they pay a lot of money, they expect them to be perfect. But there's no such thing as perfect. It can't be perfect. So all these people who bought the Louis Vuitton and something went wrong, they got an F rating now because people expect them to be perfect. How could you? There's never been a company or anything in life that's been perfect, yet you hold us accountable to be perfect. Something goes wrong, I'm generalizing, that's you, right? Something goes wrong, it's Armageddon. The reason why Mercedes-Benz has service departments is because things break down. Even after 100 years of making cars, right? So here's another thing as well. I can go back in 2005, maybe give you some history. Some of the moves we've made, it's been, whether it's by luck or we knew what we were doing, it's been fantastic moves. You know, we are, I've been saying this publicly, I've said in shows, I've said to diamond dealers, I say to whoever, we are the absolute best, highest authority when it comes to jewelry making. There is no one else above us. No, period, no. We're not even close. That's why we're the first people to come up, be able to figure out in 6,000 years of how to make a high carat jewelry line. No one's ever done that. I can't stay in the box. I'm an outside the box guy. I just can't stay in the box. So in 2005, I met my family after doing direct sales for a number of years. And if you guys haven't heard my story, I built 4 multi-million-dollar businesses before GWK. And all 4 of them, something went wrong. So it sounds like a good story. We made a bunch of millionaires, a whole bunch of 6-figure income earners. But I built teams of over 100,000 people. Many of them didn't make money. So in 2004, that bothered me. I almost got up. Imagine building your empire 4 times. Well, you think, and 3 of the 4 I was a master distributor, and you think, this is it. This time, this is it. And either the company gets sold out, they get shut down, change your compensation plan, and your dream just, poof. We talk about product issues. My first, how many of you think other network marketing companies have a nutrition product? Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? Talk about being PR. You know, we had this, my first company, it was 9.5 years I was with them, and we had this herbal drink, had 23 herbs in it. And that was our #1 product, right? And we had some skincare, some biodegradable cleaners. And every single day I had to answer the phone calls, says, well, I don't like the taste of my intro today. You know, this box that came in tastes differently. You know? So now, of course, we have to explain to them these are natural products. Of course, it's going to be different month to month. And of course, we have to say the same thing 16 million times because we got that. Oh, I got a headache this time. Oh, the skincare dried my skin. Oh, my $2 shampoo is better than the $15 shampoo you guys sell over here. Oh, man. They're biodegradables. My $4 tie cleans 10 times better than it. So, this type of stuff happens in every company. And some of you have been through that. Expect that here you're going to get some of that because somebody, like Renee was saying, you know, has 2-3 different problems between them and their people. All of a sudden, we have a product issue. You know, so you just have to be aware of that and don't join that pity party, right? We wouldn't have an A+ business rating and be the most decorated company on the planet if we had product issues. So anyways, in 2005, I went to see my family and I said, I don't want, because I always did nutrition, right? I'm Mr. Nutrition. You know, world champion wrestler, I've always, even today I use this stuff, but I just didn't want to be in business. Because the business side doesn't make sense anymore. And here's the why, the business side. And you talk about a guy who's really the one to talk in the world about compensation plan MLM. I'll tell you why it doesn't make sense anymore. What is MLM? It's a business. Now, you want to love, yeah, it's a business, right? Most basic rule 101 of business, make sure it's not saturated. Make sure it's not saturated. So one of the biggest myths of the industry, which John Paul Getty, I wrote about this because now I know why he did what he did because he's selling CDs. And he came up with a CD called Next Trillion Dollar Industry, which is health and nutrition, right? Of course, all the nutrition companies are using that. You know what's worse than a lie? Half-truth. Because a lie, you can identify right away it's a lie. The half-truth looks like it's the truth. It's hard to figure it out. Yes, of course, health and nutrition will be the next trillion-dollar industry. Here's the difference, though. It doesn't mean that's in the MLM platform. Because when I started in the MLM industry, nutrition, in 1990, there was no grocery stores carrying nutrition lines. There was no drugstores carrying There was nothing. You had to find a specialized nutrition health store, which in Ottawa we had one at that time called Cardish. Nobody carried nutritional lines those days. We had no internet, and it wasn't on TV. It just wasn't a thing. It just started, right? So although the nutrition part is going higher, what's happening over the past 15 to 20 years, and the results are showing up in their stats, is that the number of companies blowing up in network marketing those products, is growing 10 times faster than the industry itself. That means your market is shrinking. That industry, network marketing and MLS, has been on a free fall for 15 years. And I've been saying it for the last 15 years. They're not getting any bigger. They're like co-competitors, training customers. A new company pops up, takes a bunch of other nutritional people, and then they go down and they just pass it on to each other. And according to DSA, we have 96% now health and wellness and telecom. What does that tell you? Try to market the latest and greatest juice today. Man, it is tough to do. When we sold our Intra, there was nobody else. There was 4 companies in nutrition that we knew of. Ambre had their Nutrilite, Newsco was around, Herbalife was on, Shaq was around. That's it. That's it. That was in 1990. So when we had this juice, people say, look at our testimonials back then. People say, you know, what does it do for you? Oh, it makes your nail go faster. those were actual testimonials. You know, it helps with stress. You sleep better. People, give me a case. He used to buy cases. They had no drugstores to go buy this stuff. It wasn't around. We're the only company around, so then we were selling cases at the time. You know how much was an auto ship every month? $1,500 a month. Wow. That was an auto ship every month. But we sold the cases to customers at $315 a case because they couldn't go to the drugstore find 16 million other things. There was no GNC around those days. Today, try to sell a bottle of whatever it is. My God, right? So all of a sudden, let's assume the best scenario, we find somebody who's even interested, right? Who's not already using 6 other things. And then they're actually giving us their time to listen, right? And here's my best and the latest and greatest juice. Well, what does it do? We can't talk about nails. Oh, cancer, heart disease, AIDS, what a pastime, name it. We're embellishing things that are, by the way, illegal. And the reason why is that she knows 16 other people selling another juice, and they were saying the same things. So now she's blown away. She's like, how does it do all of that? Oh, our ginseng comes not from Himalayas, it comes from Mars, and I'm telling you, it works at the cellular level, and it's done through cold fusion. All of a sudden, you're becoming a half a doctor. You have to be a half a doctor to even sell that juice. Where in 1990 we said, oh, your nail goes faster. Best scenario. She buys it. Because you sold her, she buys it. Right? Now you need 90 days to see results. It's a 90-day program. That's all nutrition is saying. 90 days. Here, 3 seconds. Right?
Yep.
Look at this guy. All I'm saying is that, you know what? Don't expect us to be perfect. Don't expect your company to be perfect. Act like business owners, not consumers. Okay? You're not walking into a store that you don't like something and you complain. Be a business owner. Right? Make a business decision. If you had a business and somebody walked into your business, say have a restaurant, and tried a meal, didn't like it, you're there to listen. But if somebody says, you guys suck! What is this? I'm not coming in. How would you react to that? Luckily, it doesn't happen that often, but I've had to cancel 2 memberships If anybody becomes rude to my staff because we got the greatest staff in the world.
Yes.
they were lying.
Yes.
Right. And so I want to tell you, you want to make sure that your new asset, whoever this person is beginning emotional dispute, they'll get emotional with the company. Just tell them to shut that down. You know, there's an old saying, you want to gather flies with honey, not with vinegar, right? Our people are designed there, and I tell you, we don't have a problem. They're manufacturing acceptable numbers above 4% effective. We're seeing less than 1% in the last 10 years. So we have a way, we have a culture of, my staff knows this, find a way to say yes. So that's, they try, if you're really nice. And we have people come to us and say, look, you know what, I'm really sad, I did a bonehead move, I was walking around and, you know, and I hit my bracelet hit the door and it checked, gosh. Just be honest, we're not there to crucify you, it happens. But when you say, oh, I don't know what happened, and my bracelet chipped, tungsten, there's only one thing that can affect it. One thing. Impact. And you can't tell me, well, no, I didn't make my earring wet, it just changed color. The minute it comes and it goes under the microscope, the truth comes out, right? Yeah, the truth. So listen, you know what? I should have been nicer, but we get this all the time. I know people, they're there to help you out. In fact, the last time we did this was a couple of years ago, but 90-some-odd%, 92% of the refs we actually honored on the warranty, there were no warranty. In other words, there was impact, there was, you know. So, but we're not there to say no. All I'm saying is that, but we're not there to people to tell us, you know, if we are, here's what happens. If you exaggerate, you force us to investigate it. Now you're exposed. The biggest mistake you can do is CC a bunch of people with this exaggeration. So now we have to respond to everybody. So now we have to respond to everybody because now we put a bunch of wrong information. So now it goes in the lab, we check it, and by the way, this is what really happens. And it doesn't look good for you, right? Just call us and say, hey, you know what? Here's what happened. It doesn't mean we're perfect. We're not. Things happen. That's what we're open to live. That's what we investigate, by the way. We change things all the time. Sanaz is very much involved, obviously, leading the design team and those things. But when it comes to quality issue, the quality control, I'm it. It has to pass me. The 21K, the 19K, the Selenium, this Estela, all the stuff is me. I say, okay, no, we're not doing this, we're doing this. And then, of course, it becomes the manufacturer's challenge to produce the stuff that we want. And for a company that created the Ferrimage, we don't, and created the Estela, what does that tell you? We're going to be the best of the best of the best. Doesn't mean it's perfect or it's somehow it is destructive. I actually see the stewards do this. The way they oversell the products, they leave a wrong expectation. I have actually seen this in a meeting. I walk into a meeting, the person took a pen in front of my eyes, in front of a meeting like this. Look, it doesn't scratch, it's sapphire. Look, it doesn't scratch. I've seen people take their ring, throw it on the floor. See, our tungsten, like that, it doesn't chip like the. It's water resistance under normal use. It's scratch resistance under normal use. I've seen this. Look, tungsten doesn't scratch. So I'm sharing this with you for a reason. Sometimes your people will come to you and say, I don't know what happened. Don't automatically jump on the camp. You should have enough confidence in the product. You all own them. Knowing that, if somebody says, look, you know, I have a problem, it's okay, it happens. If somebody's giving you an Armageddon scenario, everything goes wrong. At one time, years ago, Mark in the Western Canada, and be careful what you say because then we have to respond. Somebody said, 70% of everything into our city is wrong. Has gone bad. That's a risk. All right, do the conference with all your leaders. This is about 2010, 2009, that area. That's how many problems? All the people who contributed to this email came up with 12 different examples. And of course, we prepared over 760 pieces of to that city. So how do you come up with the 70% that things that come here that's gone wrong? That's less than 1%, 2%. Point I make is, I guess, Renee talked about this. So in 2005, I went to my family. I said, look, I don't want to do nutrition. I want to do this direct sale. Well, I want to go to something that's the most profitable. Because in 2004, I came to a crossroad to get out of the industry. And I knew there was two problems with the industry. So I just did a video last week, which is going to become your introductory video. It's about a 4-minute video. So the minute somebody launches with you, they get this in the email autoresponder. So they launch now, they get it instantly. It's about 3 minutes long, it's not long. And I'll talk about the reason why I wrote GWT. The two reasons are there. In 2004, I knew the problem with the industry. So either I get out of the industry, I have some offers in the job scene, or do my own. No CEO will entertain my thought. It's just too expensive for the corporation because we're free flowing. There is no restriction as the money goes out. Companies don't like that. So I launched my own. But here's the two reasons. Number one problem with the industry, still to this today. Products are being sold in it. Low profit items. Because all nutrition, health products, telecom, they sell us on the idea that it has to be consumable. And what they mean by that is, if you don't eat or wash it with it, then it's not consumable. If they what consumable is, something that people are willing to invest into willingly on a monthly basis. And our I-air ratio is 800 times higher than their consumable product. So you tell me which one is more consumable. Right? So when something is low profit, now from day one that you go to launch, you have a problem. And the problem is you need an army of users in order for you to make a full-time income. Army of users. You need lots of users. And we know the averages in MLM. An average person recruits 2.3% in a lifetime. So if I need 15,000 people to replace my income, well, from day one I have a problem, don't I? So these are the stuff that I share, and then the top guys in the industry don't like to call me about it afterwards. I mean, you know, just can you tone it down a bit? So if you go to a meeting, even Renee, right? If you go to any, you're going to be much smarter MLM after this sentence. You go to any meeting, there's always a guy in front of the room flashing a big check, right? Doesn't matter what company it is. There's always a guy who's doing that. Forget about how much money they're making. Ask them another question. How many people did it take for you to get it? Every company has a big check. How many people did it take for you to get there? They brag about it. I got 150,000 people in my team. They just told the average person you have no shot. Low profit products. So Mr. Nutrition in 2005, I want to get out of that. I want to do something that if he wants to make $1,000 a month, it's up to me, right? He sells a product or two, he's got his money. In nutrition and telecom, you got to pick up the phone, call all your leaders, hopefully to buy an extra case so you can make $1,000. Maybe you want to shut the air conditioning on because I said ladies are shaking. So that's number one problem with the industry. Now we're going to assess. Now we're going to assess my vision back and see if I was right or wrong in a minute. So number one problem: low profit items, which pretty much, according to DSA, Direct Selling Association, 96% are that. Right. The second problem: compensation plans, and that really bothered me because it's deceitful. Look, the concept of MLM was supposed to be simple. We, back in my days, we used to beat up on retail. You know why? We used to say, Manufacture something, goes to a series of middle people, then it goes to retailer and you buy it. So we eliminate the middle, right? So we go directly from manufacturer to the consumer, and we take that advertising money, we give it to you as commissions. Simple. In other words, create the volume, we'll pay you. Along the way, some hotshot MBA guys said, hey, this is too good. If we can restrict the flow of the funds from the company to the people, we can make a lot of money. There's a terms for that in corporate world, it's called breakage. If I created breakage, where he's created the volume, but we have to have him jump hoops to get it, and we can chop it even more. And initially, in my days, the compensation plan had 6 or 7 levels. Today, 30! I see them, man. I'm telling you, it's incredible how many different levels. So once he gets to become a Starship Commander, then he gets to maximize the plan until next month when he has to become another Starship Commander again, because that's a renew, requalify. So I've written 4 plans. I've written plans for 4 different companies before my own. And a CEO would come to me and say, Ramin, can you write a plan for our company? Okay. We want to show on paper what we pay 50%. Okay? That's pretty standard. They all pretty much say that it's pay 50%. But we've done our calculations. We only want to give out 36%. Another 36, we want to keep 5% for the 2 guys at the top for the $100,000 check, because we need those checks. So how do you show 50 and make 31% available to the field? How do you do that? There's only one way to do it. Oh, you're lying. You're right. You're absolutely right. But in MLM, there's different for MLM. In MLM, they call it ranks. Yeah. That's the only way to take control of the flow of the funds. So they create all these beautiful ranks, different colors. They put you on the stage. They give you a pen, which we're going to do today. And then, I'll distinguish what's the difference between what we do and what they do. And then they're going to say, okay, you are a Director of 3, Ambassador of 4, Supreme NATO Commander. Here it is, and you get an extra 4%, whatever, right? My question to the CEOs was, if you want to pay 50, we'll just pay it out. Why do they have to go 30 levels together? Just pay it out. No. The breakage. 14%, they say, right? What I did with the rank is important in one way. It motivates, keeps people motivated to work. That's the downside to our plan. It's free flowing, so from day one, all of you have access to the full 60%, so you don't have, so there's, the motivation is just not there. And human beings, we know they need a boss looking over their shoulder. In this business, that's ranks. Because if you don't, then you're not going to be self-functional. That's a good word, self-functionality. So what I did, I came up with a launchpad a few years ago, and I put a bunch of statuses in there. Here's the difference. Did you guys see the video we just reloaded, me and Ronan? He talks about that, right? The difference between our ranks and their ranks is this. Our ranks is not attached to the comp plan. In other words, if you don't get to Ambassador, you still get your 500 as a diamond.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything for you. Right? That's right. So our way is, if you do this, you get extra. Their way is, if you don't do this, you lose. Huge difference. Because their ranks is directly attached to the compensation plan. With us, once you're diamond, maximum buying power, maximum commissions, done. So I understand bonuses are important to go ahead and reward your top performers. What I don't like is penalizing people for not reaching your milestones. I don't want to penalize people. I want to give people incentives to do more, to get more, not to preserve what they have. That's the two differences. All right. Renee, come on up, because I think he's around.
We just went to one.
Of course, I had to call on that, right? Till he comes back, I think he has a couple of announcements. We have some shorts here. Your opportunity to ask a question, whatever you want. You got me here, so if you want to bring up something, this is the time to do it. I can talk about anything. I can talk for days. My experiences. Yes.
I mean, I know everybody's wondering what's our next product releases.
I will give you the tip though. Our timepieces have been obviously a home run. I mean, I couldn't. One watch manufacturer told me that, because when I was telling him how some of these timepieces, because we do this in numbers, right? It's all limited. And he says two things that I like. One, I said, do you know we have launched more releases than Rado has? Because we have so many different types since we started 7 years ago. It's very expensive to do, because they also make for Rado. Very expensive to do when you come with a new watch, because this has to go to 6 or 7 different factories to come together. See this Conquest, this one, 6 or 7 different factories have to come together for this to come together. The movement comes from Switzerland and everything else. So it's not an easy thing to do, it's very expensive to do, but because the way we do it, many of our timepieces, including this one, has become part of the Hall of Fame, and people have paid double for it to buy it on the market. For something to become a collector's item so quickly, it's never been happened before. This year's timepieces, because it's got our 10th year, 2 of them is going to have a 10th anniversary logo. Right. So get your hands on that, because obviously, if these things can become a collector, you can imagine what those are going to be. And you've seen our sophistication in timepieces has gone tremendously. I mean, this stuff is very complex to make. But the next one that's coming out, we're releasing our very first automatic movements, Conquest automatic. I mean, it's going to be it's a watch collector's watch. Right? And the ladies, we got some real sexy stuff. I mean, the Fairy Flawless, I'm really wrapped up about that. I mean, when the skincare come out, I mean, this is, I'm more into makeup and than skincare really, but I think it's just us to do that, Fairy for home. I mean, I love being able to have this gorgeous stuff. So, to answer your question, it is a lot. What we've done so far, it's just a small part of where we're going to be. So, look at this as a long-term career. It's not a 6-month thing. Go watch the video between me and Doug. It took him 35 years to hit out of the park. I can guarantee it won't take you that long here. But look at it as a career. Look where will be the next 5 years. Where are you going to be next 6 years? Where are you going to be next 7 years? Most of you are very young, so have a long-term vision on this. Just your inventory, if you take care of it. Some of it is going to be a collector's item. It already has. Just want to make sure that when you look at this, look at it as a long-term plan. And if you look at it as a long-term plan, you're not going to go through the roller coaster that much anymore, right? Because, by the way, I always say differently. Doug said that, well, I have no choice. You either get up or you die. And he puts it the way, the only way to stay in the valley if you stop moving. It's the only way. Take this to heart. This is the laws of nature. Many of my trainings, forensics, are based on the laws of nature. Now, nature has certain laws and will never deviate from its laws. You might not like spiders, but if you didn't have spiders, the bugs would take over the world. Right? Nature has its laws. Here's one of the laws of nature that you must adopt. Well, it's not like this. It's like this. At the end of the hill, there's a valley. In the valley, there's a hill. That is a law of nature. You go through that in your relationships, health, business, everything. So if you're down, know that it's going to come up again. Unless you stop moving. keep calling, keep promoting, keep talking, and you're going to hit another hill. That is 100% stat, not a 99.9. That's the law of nature. That's not my law. That's the nature's law. So make sure that if you're having a pity party, it's not extended pity party. Right? We all have them. I have them. It's just that what I learned over time, 26 years, is that what used to bother me, that keep me down for 2 weeks, then I learned to package it, and it keep me down for a week. Then I learned to package it to keep me down for a day. Then I learned to package it to keep me down for an hour. Then I learned to package it to keep me down for 5 minutes. Then I learned to package it to keep me down for 15 seconds. So now, when I'm having one of those, 15 seconds I'm up and running. When I was on the field, making calls like you, when somebody told me to go fly a kite, my wrestler, my first thing is I want to break his neck. That's the first thing that comes to my head, right? But 15 seconds later, I was on the next call. And the only way that comes is practice. If you're practicing being down for 2 weeks, well, you get really good at that. If you practice being down for 15 seconds, you get really good at that. And yeah, it requires some discipline on your part. It requires for you to come in your comfort zone. Look what you're asking of this business. You're not asking to make it, you're asking for it to become your full-time career. You're asking to be rich. You're asking for these things that 99% of the population don't have access to. People always ask me, been asked this question for 26 years. And some of the biggest leaders in the industry have asked me that question. And this is, I don't think anyone had the answer right. I think I have the answer right. People say, Ramin, I want to make 10,000 a month. It sounds to be, 10,000 just got a nice ring to it, right? I mean, it's just one of those levels, that first level that, right? Now, if you say 10,000 somewhere around here, there's a laugh at it. To then have a pity party on that. But for the average person who starts up, I think 10,000 is a good. So that's okay. Let's look at that for a minute. That puts you in the top 2% of the population in income. What makes you so special? To be away from 98% of the population and to be part of the 2%. What makes you so special? There's only one right answer to this. I've asked this question from a lot of people. I think I have the right answer. And because you can say anything else you want. The only right answer is because I'm willing to do what the other 98% are not willing to do. Because the other 98%, they have extended pity parties and they quit. The other 98%, they're too busy to be here today. The other 98%, they can't get on the webinar because they got kids. As if the rest of us don't have kids. Maybe they love their kids more than we love ours. I don't know. The other 98%, they want it all, but they're too busy. They all have stuff to do. So next time you find yourself saying, this is what I want, and if it's at a significant level, the next question I want you to ask yourself is, okay, what makes me so special? And answer it. All right? So at this point, I think I'm just going to stop because I can go on for days. Renee, come on up and take over.
That was a treat, yes?
Yeah.
For a lot of us, actually, 8 years ago, Ramin was one of the boys training at the boot camp. So I think for a lot of us, like Sean, we actually miss having Ramin always doing the trainings for us, right? So it's amazing that you get to treat the different about the other. Right now, that's pretty much the mission. But before the recognition, I want to thank the people that helped put this event together.